Golly, look at this rookie. Not even ready. Don't even got their headphones on. All discombobulated. Didn't even have the music. Didn't even have the right music queued up, ready to go to really give this pod the nice kickoff that it deserves, you know.
I didn't even look up and realize that you had the countdown going.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
No. We're all good. I know when you said ready, I'm like, normally I'll hear like the countdown music, and I'm like, so I'm just like looking at this score of this Toledo game. But how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, man. And I know it's early, but it's our first podcast of November. So we got to bring that big Scorpio energy to the pod today, Parlay Pete. You know, for starters, we got the real one, a.k.a. Baby Low, a.k.a. Lorilla. My daughter, Lorena J. Lee, her birthday is tomorrow, November 6th. Shout out to her. She'll be the big 3.
Yeah.
You know, Baby Low turning 3. Then, I got this hat on right here. And very rarely do I show my veteran pride. But I have a 250-year anniversary of the Marine Corps because this year, our good old United States Marine Corps turns 250 years old. An organization I spent 10 years in, an organization that my parents met each other in. It allowed me to meet Cindy, create Low. It's an organization that I wouldn't be here without for many reasons. So shout out to the Marine Corps. And then, the last important thing before Thanksgiving,
for the homie DJ Screw.
we got a real one turning 34. It's my Chuck year.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can run a bag up, because my Scott Piff year was a Scott Piff year.
Yeah. Well, would you say that by far November is your favorite time of the year?
It has become my favorite time of the year. I'm more of a Thanksgiving guy than a Christmas guy because I enjoy the family being together, but I don't necessarily want or need gifts because for most of my life, I've been able to go to the store and get the things I want when I want them or be okay not having them. So don't really care about gifts. And then my birthday's in November, and then when I was in the Marine Corps, you got the ball every year in November, which is a great time. And now, honestly, most importantly, it's my daughter's birthday.
Exactly. And another important aspect to it too is, this is when football season starts to heat up.
Yeah.
It's the end of college football at the end of this month, basically. Well, the regular season, at least, it'll be over the day after Thanksgiving. Whether or not your team is pretty much in or out in the NFL by the end of this month. Yeah. Big month indeed.
I mean, we already know now. It's the beginning of the month.
Yeah, well, we know we're out. Our team's out. Yeah.
It's if we're being honest, man. Nah, we're not even doing that.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Yes, man. This is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
You ready to get into this right now, man?
Yeah, there's nothing to rise up about. I mean, I don't even understand. At this point, that can't be a slogan for us because that's not what we do. We don't get up for games. We find a way to fall to the occasion. We don't rise to it. We fall to the occasion.
The Falcons remind me of
who?
Me after Tongue and Groove on Friday night. Just couldn't get up for the occasion.
Yeah, just fell asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
You
look the part. You act like you're going to be here all night and party and have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, when it really counts, when the game is on the line and you've left the club, and this nigga sleep.
Yeah, no. And Yeah, I wouldn't say you necessarily missed out on it. Well, there was actually quite a few things that kind of just transpired. As you saw when you woke up and how we left, what happened. There's just a lot of like stuff going on.
Well, I was just telling a story because, and I know in the grand scheme of things, I didn't miss anything. But when you think about like a story, an epic night, and kind of the way that our night was, you know, where we started the night, how we got to where we were going, where we were at while we were there, kind of the energy that came with that. Yeah. Then, you know, going back to where we ended up staying at, like when you do all of that stuff on the front end, like the way that you want the night to end is kind of how it ended, and you should be awake for that to see where it can go.
Correct. And we don't fault you for that, but I do fault the Falcons for not closing out their day, night, whatever the game, the correct way, because, again, the kicker reared its ugly head. And
you know, Josh knows these birds, man.
Well, and here's the thing. I just feel as if obviously you blame the loss on him because we'll never know what could have happened if he just makes the kick. But you also got off to a slow start in the game.
Well, what about Ron?
Contain them in the second half. Like, I feel like they kind of contained them in the second half.
In the second half.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's just much ado about nothing. It was more of the same. It's more of what we've been talking about for weeks. More of what we talked about last week, kind of after the Dolphins game. Drake London comes out. He has a hat trick. You know, James Pierce gets both of our rookies. I said Jalen Walker gets the sack strip. James Pierce recovers the fumble. He's kind of celebrating early for whatever reason. I mean, it's okay we ended up scoring, but fella should have got his first touchdown of his career on that play. But because he was, like, celebrating, I know that he was sticking the ball out to try and get it, but he was also, like, high-stepping a little. It was just, I don't know. That's how people fumble into the end zone. And
he may have been trying to kick his legs up for the guy running behind him, trying to clip at his ankles, you know, but we also have an organization ran by a hard R. And when you got hard R running the organization, you know, you have hard R energy going down the entire organization. And that was some hard R behavior.
Yeah. And I just think that, you know, when's enough going to be enough is just my thing. It really is a fuck you to the fans. Like, I can't explain it any better than that. It's a fuck you to the fans with everything that they continue to do week in and week out. We're sitting at 3-5. Think about it. Last year around this time, we were 5-3. And we ended up shitting the bed in the second half. And maybe that's what ends up happening here. Maybe we go the opposite direction, right? Because we ended up being 6-3. We beat the Dallas Cowboys. We were headed into New Orleans. On top of the world, we were playing a battered New Orleans team that just fired their coach. And the expectation was, oh, man, they're going to blow doors. The Falcons look like they're about to coast to the division title. But in this case with us, we are on the opposite end of that spectrum. We're 3-5 now, headed to Berlin to play a team that coming into last week had the best record in the NFL and still does. They're tied for the best record in the NFL. Oh, by the way, they added an all-pro cornerback to their arsenal now, and he's expected to play.
And a big corner who actually matches up well with Drake London.
Right. And so
and they lost, remember, a pissed off Colts team that lost.
Right. And exactly. They're coming off a loss in the worst game that they played all season. Daniel Jones had 5 turnovers.
I mean, think about this. They had 6 turnovers and they lost by a score. That's a good football team.
Against the division leading team currently.
Yeah, bro, like you turn over the ball 6 times and you lose by a score. You're a good football team.
Yeah. And so we got to deal with that now. Yeah, and it kind of goes into the title of this podcast this week. Mr. Blank, tear down this wall. We need him to tear it down. And maybe this weekend we'll get to see the implosion literally in Berlin, because that's what it feels like we're headed towards.
Well, Here's what it is. Jeff Ulbrich, nothing I say relates to you, your side of the ball, and the operation you're running. By no means are y'all perfect. You know, we'd like for you to give up less than 24 points in a game. But when you give up 24 and you pretty much shut them down in the second half, you get your 5, 6 sacks, you get 2 turnovers. You done your job, man.
Right.
Gave the offense the opportunity to win. You should have scored a defensive touchdown, but you put them on the doorstep. So nothing I say involves Jeff Ulbrich. But let's start with Ra, because I'm going to start on the field, because everybody knows how we feel about Rich. And it's like beating a dead horse, but the problem is this motherfucker won't die. He's still here. But let's start with Ra. Zach Robinson is a terrible offensive coordinator. Raheem Morris.
He's damn near incompetent.
Raheem Morris, you wanted, by all accounts, y'all were high on Michael Penix in LA. So then when you get the Falcons job, you really fall in love with him. You go get Kirk Cousins to be your bridge quarterback to try to get you some instant success, because you see that you have a roster that's close, some minor adjustments. Kirk should be able to get you there year 1, year 2, get Penix ready for, moving forward. Great idea. But when Kirk Cousins fails, you now have to understand that you no longer have a veteran quarterback. You have a rookie quarterback. A rookie quarterback who's different. 1, he's left-handed. 2, he's athletic but does not run. That's important to know. He's pretty much a pocket guy. You know what? You kind of need a coordinator who's been there before. And granted, Ra, I know you've been an assistant head coach. I know you've been a head coach years ago. You probably should have went and got a offensive coordinator who's been in the league for a while, former head coach, to help you coach. But then when you got this rookie, you got somebody who can coach this rookie, who's seen multiple quarterbacks, who's called plays, who's executed in multiple systems with different types of players, so that we can make things easy. Because one thing I've noticed from the Falcons offense, ain't much easy. It's Bijan in the flats, Bijan running the ball, Drake London making a contested catch. But we don't have many plays where people are wide, slap open, where it's like, yo, hell of a play call, Zach.
Yeah.
Like we don't have people being schemed open. But I blame Coach Morris for this, because he's the head man. And as we see, like his fucking ankles, we're not buttoned up. I don't want to see my coach's ankles on the sideline. I'm sorry. I don't. I like when coaches wore khakis, wore team polos. Maybe you got a pullover on. Maybe you've got a sweater vest. You know what I mean? Like, there is something about looking like you're about business that gives off the image that you are about business. But when you look like you're out here to be fly and play and look cool, that's how your team looks. It doesn't look buttoned up. And I know I sound like an old fuck, because none of that stuff really should matter if you're executing. But the problem is you're not executing. We got kickers missing field goals. We're choosing to go for it on 4th down instead of taking the points. Guess what? If you take those points in the first half when you had that field goal where you didn't get a touchdown, you know what the score is? Instead of it being 23-24, it's 26-24. Holy shit. You're up. They gotta go get 3. It changes the game. Take points. Like we're probably gonna get into it in this basketball stuff, but don't make simple things difficult. Everything doesn't need a formula in order for you to get the answer. Sometimes 1 + 1 = 2, and that's the answer. If the Falcons don't have a great offensive performance this week, if we don't light up the scoreboard, or if we don't play complementary football where the defense actually contains Jonathan Taylor, we keep them to somewhere between 17 and 24 points, and we can't win the game. You got to go, Zach. Now, if we light them up for 45 points and lose, you know what, Zach, you live to fight another day. But no, man, Zach's got to go. And I hate to do this to Coach Ra, but you got a few games left, man.
Yeah, and I don't think that there's anything positive that we can really take away from what this season has been. We haven't seen any development in Michael Penix, and it gets back to what you said. You didn't get somebody that has a track record of doing these things, somebody that's been in the league, somebody that develops quarterbacks. You want to know what's going on around us? Look at everybody in our division, right? Dave Canales. Oh, he's got a track record. He's developed a quarterback, or we've seen good work come out of him working with the quarterback. That's why he got a head coaching job. Kellen Moore. Oh man, we've seen some good work coming out of Kellen Moore. He's dealt with quarterbacks. Todd Bowles is a little different, but they're the standard in the division, so we're not even going to bring them up. But
he's bringing in coordinators, whether it's Canales, Cohen, or whoever the hell it is down there.
Right. There's two guys that have worked with that organization that are now head coaches because they've developed quarterbacks. And so you just look around the league, everybody that got drafted the same year as Michael Penix won a football game on Sunday. Guess who didn't? Michael Penix didn't. Everybody else did. Yeah, of course somebody was going to lose, but why did it have to be us? Why couldn't it have been Drake May that took the loss? Oh, because he's got Josh McDaniels, a guy that's worked with a lot of quarterbacks. He's worked with the greatest of them all.
Oh, and guess who else he has? He has Mike Vrabel, a guy that we interviewed who would have brought Josh McDaniels with him. Holy shit!
Or, let's look at Seattle. Mike McDonald. That's another guy that we interviewed. Wait a minute. He knows defense. Okay. He hires Clint Kubiak from the Saints. That shit looks like it's fucking humming.
Oh,
but we didn't want him We didn't want him. He's 6-2. Okay, who else?
We want Sam. Hey, we didn't want Sam Darnold either. We got Desmond.
Yeah. John, let's see, Jim Harbaugh, he's 6-3. He's got a proven track record everywhere he's been.
Did we interview him?
Yeah, we interviewed him twice too.
Okay.
So essentially everybody that was in,
Ben Johnson.
Could have got Ben Johnson possibly if that's what you really wanted.
Could have got Big Ben.
Ben's out here. He's showing that he knows how to develop. He knows how to call plays and scheme for matchups. Wow, what are they doing? They're 5-3. Really? You don't say. Yeah, I just think that at this point, it's frustrating to be a Falcons fan. It really, really is. And it does make you question, do I really need to continue to cheer for this? Because now we're going on, what is this? This would be year 8 or 9. Of not making the playoffs. 8. This will be the 8th straight year. So this is the longest it's been. Last year made the longest it had been. The Falcons had never gone more than 6 years without making the playoffs. Now we're about to be on year 8. This is a bad football organization. It's badly coached and it's not well managed. And the reality of the situation is too, in a weird way, the talent kind of underperforms at times. So you get that collection of stuff going on, you're going to end up being a 3-5 football team. You're going to look like a team that is a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You don't know who the fuck's going to show up next week because you don't know what we're going to do. And so
guess who gets fired as well and may never get another job again?
The GM.
And
because those guys don't typically get second jobs.
TD hasn't got a second job, and he got a team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
I think everybody really hated how that Cap stuff ended.
But
a lot of bad contracts.
It was, but we talked about it last week. And
he was terrible. I'll say this much. He was pretty bad when it came to later rounds pick. He never picked anyone. Like, we took Peter Kahns in the second round.
Who drafted Landman?
That was a great pick. I think he was undrafted, and they just signed him.
Was that Terry or TD?
I think that was under Terry. That was under the Arthur Smith regime.
Look at her. Terry finds talent, and that's the point. And he's put talent on that field. He drafted weapons. He fortified the offensive line throughout the
He
year.
didn't pick the coach.
Well,
I don't think he picked the coach in either time. He didn't pick a coach at all.
he didn't. We know he didn't pick Arthur because remember,
Arthur was
when
hired first.
yeah, when they talked about who's going to make the
He didn't pick Raheem either.
Well, no,
That wasn't his choice.
Well, we know who picked Raheem.
Now, Bill might have not been his choice either, but like that wasn't his choice. That was Rich's call. Rich said, "I want a guy that we've worked with before."
Well, you know, Rich, we talk about this. Rich had no interest in Bill because Rich was really going to be working for the Atlanta United if Bill showed up.
Wasted opportunities, and that's pretty much what our team has come to. We're just a wasted opportunity.
How can we turn this around this year?
Win football games. Winning cures all at the end of the day. They've got a golden opportunity. If they can beat the Colts, your schedule, at least on paper, sets up to be winnable. You play the Jets, who are pretty much bowing out altogether this season.
Yep.
That's a team that you should be able to take advantage of in New York. You got to play the Saints still twice. That's another 1-7 football team. And I'll hold my breath because we've already lost to a 1 football team this season. So a 1-win football team this season. So I guess these aren't just slam dunk wins, but it does set up nicely for you to rebound if you can get this one, right? The rebound really should have been this past week. But then again, you should have never lost to the Dolphins to where this would have been an okay loss in a sense of, well, with the way that they're playing and the fact it was on the road, it's an understandable loss.
Yeah.
We don't get points for covering spreads, which is what they did. They did cover the spread, but that doesn't show up in the win column. So,
and when you drop games like the Carolina game and you get blown out by the Dolphins,
that loss is starting to not look as bad though. We know it's still a bad loss, not just because of how he lost, but I still believe we're a better football team than the Panthers. But it doesn't look like a bad loss anymore, Lee.
I mean, it doesn't look like it, but we know what it is, okay? We watched the game, okay?
I'm pulling it up now.
We outgained them and couldn't get inside the 20. You know, Bryce Young wins games and he has like running back games.
Yeah.
You know,
so I'm
20
looking at
attempts for 110 yards.
I'm looking at this now because at first I was starting to draw a blank there. I was like, hold on a second. I was like, who do we play next week? If you get Carolina here. Now, if you lose that game to Indianapolis, I guarantee you that half that stadium is going to be wearing Carolina blue. If we lose this game on Sunday.
Probably
because at that point, we know the season's over.
And the season ticket holders stop showing up.
Yeah, exactly, because nobody wants to see that bullshit. But you get some revenge. If you can win this game this weekend, you get some revenge on Carolina, you're back at 500, and then you get the Saints and the Jets. You can turn it around, but you have to win. It's really simple. There's nothing else I want to see. I don't want to see Michael Penix develop and we lose. I don't want to see that. I want to see him develop and we win. Win the football game. Do what you need to do to win the fucking football game. You sign Zane Gonzalez now as your kicker. He's got a better leg than Parker Romo. There's no doubt about that. But he's also somebody that, I don't know. There's a reason why he wasn't on a roster. You know what I mean? I know that he made a game-winning field goal for Washington last year against Tampa, right? So at least we've seen, okay, in a pressure situation, he's made kicks. But there's still a reason why he wasn't back with them last year, and they brought in Matt Gay. So it's like, we'll see what ends up happening, but I don't have any faith in this team. I mean, my confidence is down to a 1. I have none in them, seriously. And that's pretty sad because anyone that knows me knows that if there's anyone that will be delusional about the Falcons, it will be me. I can't even be delusional about this anymore because I know what I'm saying every week. I don't have hope because every time that you do get a little bit of hope, you know, they're like that chick that's like blowing you off, you know. You believe that you're going to get some ass out of this. You're not looking to necessarily get some ass, but that's the belief that's being displayed to you, and you're walking away with a hand job at best. That's what you get.
And at this ripe old age, if a hand job is all I can get, I'll take nothing.
Right, and that's kind of where we're at as a team. There is no moral victories.
No, because
Like
the playoff drought has been so long that optimism at the end of the season is still pessimism, because it's like, how come we couldn't do this all year? Like, why did it take so long? And that puts the Falcons in a tough spot, because I can understand moving off of Coach Ra.
Yeah.
And not even for the record, honestly, it's for the football operation itself. But if you move off of Coach Ra, how many years are you giving the next coach? And are you going to give him enough years? And then do we turn into like a team that becomes a turnstile of coaches? And now it's going to be hard to get a good established coach, and we got to hope we get it right with a first timer, because nobody is really going to take that job seriously.
Well, the thing is this: if you're getting rid of Ra, you're out here, you're going big game hunting. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Arthur knows that his time on this earth isn't going to be that much fucking longer. Now, that's just realisticness. It doesn't matter that he's a billionaire, whatever.
Well, he might use
he's
that
in his
Brady
80s.
technology. Hey, that Brady got that cloning technology. He may, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure they still got Walt Disney somewhere on ice. But this is what I'm saying. He's got to go big game hunting. That next head coach, whether it's them actually hiring Bill this time around, which I don't even know if that is even the right move. Not now. I don't. Not because of what he's doing in Carolina either. I just don't think that that's the right move now at this point, because you've got to bring in somebody. You need to get the next best. I mean, I don't give a fuck if you got to poach somebody. You don't have a first-round pick this year, which, it is what it is. Like, I'm understandable. I was not mad at that move when we made it, and I think that James Pierce will ultimately end up paying off to where it doesn't really matter. But that was an all-in move. We pushed all the chips in. This regime has put all of its chips in. That's what that was. That was an all-in move, and it's not paying off right now. The house is kicking our ass. All right. If somebody's going to give you that line of credit, you better go get the most guaranteed shit that you can get with that line of credit.
I mean, but
don't hire a fucking like when they hire DQ. They'll hire these firms to do these. So don't do that. Don't do that, Arthur. You call up the top fucking football heads and you say, "Hey, I mean, I don't give a shit. Bring in Bill Parcells.
Bring in Bill Polian
to say, hey guys, I need you guys to help me with this. We need to get the best fucking football coach possible. Who are our options? Who's realistic? Is there anyone that we can poach?
What are your thoughts
on the next up and coming coordinator?
What's your thoughts on Mike McCarthy?
I wouldn't be mad at that. I'm okay with Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
I would be fine with that. He's got a winning track record. He's not just because he's won a Super Bowl. He did well in Dallas too. It wasn't really his fault. I just feel like the Cowboys are the Cowboys. And so it's like
the Cowboys are a consistent playoff roster, but they're not a Super Bowl roster.
No, they're not.
Like, and just the way the team is constructed, they're constructed to win 10 games a year, but they're not, even when they win 12 or 13 games, they're not built to win Super Bowls. They haven't been. But with that, I don't think that, and maybe that takes us to this next conversation, but I think Jerry's catching way too much hell for his moves this season. He traded away Micah Parsons. Then he trades for Quinn Williams and a linebacker from one of the worst
Cincinnati
in the league. That cool. Jerry's catching a lot of flack for that Quinn Williams trade. I think it's a good trade because it's harder to find good, solid interior defensive linemen than it is to find good ends. And if you can fortify the middle of your defense, it allows you to have lesser ends who still get good production because they can't run the ball up the middle and you're forcing internal pressure. And if you force internal pressure, it makes your quarterback get out of the pocket, and now you're creating sacks for those outside guys. Now, one thing about Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones knows talent. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Jerry Jones knows talent, and Jerry Jones is not afraid to spend money on talent. Now, where Jerry Jones fucks up is he fucks up extensions. He signs players late. He doesn't sign them early. He sweats them out to the last minute, and he usually gets bent over. But for all of those who are out here upset with Jerry about bringing in other defensive players when he could have just kept Micah, let's just think about something. Maybe Jerry didn't want Micah on his roster. I get it. All pro, multiple time All Pro, great player. Most teams would die to have Micah Parsons on their roster.
Right.
But you had the reports come out about how players had an issue with him, his immaturity, the podcast and stuff. If you go back to Penn State, you know, he got caught up in some stuff that we don't really talk about, but some signs of immaturity. I'm not saying he's immature, for the Penn State stuff, because he's a kid and you do dumb shit in the locker room. But if the players aren't in love with Micah, and then the owner feels like the player negotiated in bad faith, even though the owner was having negotiations that violated the CBA. But again, this is an old 80-plus-year-old billionaire. You kind of don't tell him how to spend his money, even if there are rules, Steve Ballmer. But if Jerry says, I don't want this guy on my team anymore, I understand that he's very productive, and I need to replace that production, but we can't stop the run with or without Micah, so we need guys on the interior line to help stop the run as opposed to just a pass rusher who's light in the ass and isn't great stopping the run. Yeah. Let's get this nigga up out of here, and let's bring in some guys who I want to be here, guys who I want to pay. And I think an owner is well within his rights. If he does not want to pay a player because some contract negotiations fell out, trade him. And hey, Jerry, you got 2 Pro Bowlers out of the trade, and what? You still got an extra draft pick.
And that's why that's why I don't understand why people are upset about the trade. I'm like, well, they got a first-round pick, and they got 1 Pro Bowler who is like in his prime, all pro type player.
Yep.
And the other one's a former Pro Bowler that is still a good player at the end of the day. And all you did was give up one of those first-round picks that you did get in that trade. It made a lot of sense to me. And I didn't look at it as, yes, it can help them right now, but this move wasn't for right now. And any and everybody that looks at it should know that, especially after the Arizona game. Like,
can we talk about that real quick, though? I understand we live in a microwave take world, right?
Yeah.
But since when was every move that an organization makes a win now move? You know, like sometimes teams do make win now moves because they're close. Or if you're like Dallas, you go, hey, we have a playoff offense. Our defense sucks. You know, let's make some trades. Maybe this helps us this year. But if not, it helps us moving forward. We understand what our cap situation is. We're getting players who have proven to be productive players at the NFL level versus getting a college kid who we don't know what he's going to be. And it may take that player 2 to 3 years to get there. But Dallas may look at competing next year. If they can shore up the defense, they'll compete next year. So I just hate that everybody thinks that every move has to be a right now move. No, part of building a good team, even if you make in-season trades, i.e. the Lakers trading AD for goddamn Luka, that was not a today trade. That trade may have, at the day of that trade, may have set the Lakers back in winning a championship right now. But long term, we understand where we're going, and now we can adjust how we're building this team. Now Dallas goes into the offseason saying, you know what? We got our tackles shored up. We've brought in a linebacker who we've got half of a season to see in our system to be able to evaluate him to decide what else we need. We've got these corners out here who can grab picks, but they can't cover shit to save their lives. How do we recreate what Dan Quinn had so that we can get these picks? And yeah, we're going to give up big plays, but we're going to take the ball away. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and Shoddy is got the offense rolling. You know what I mean? Yeah, they don't play great every week, but Shoddy's got the offense rolling. So I just think the people who are wanting to overreact and say it's a bad trade, I'm not talking about Josh Holsey because he doesn't put his shit out there publicly. He just says things that are bad, like because he believes it. You know what I mean?
Well, he's an Eagles fan.
Well, because he thinks that Howie Rose, he thinks he's Howie Roseman. He takes on the life of his GM. So if he doesn't think Howie would make the move, he goes, "Oh man, it's stupid."
Yeah, he scoffs at it.
Like, why would you give up a first round pick and you're not even going to be good this year? Like, well, Josh, what if Quentin Williams is better than the person who's available at that pick next year? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought that like a guy who's an all-pro is better than a guy coming out of college who may or may not ever become an all-pro? If I can have Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to get Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to take a flyer on Dylan Raiola just because the guy has some similar skills and he's younger. Give me the commodity.
Yeah, I'm not going to trade everything in the world to get Arch Manning because his last name is Manning.
But the Jets also got off of another good player.
They did, and again, like we kind of spoke about a little bit earlier, we get to see them in action. We get to wake up early in the morning, have a little breakfast, and swallow what I hope is not this would be our fourth straight loss if we lose.
Yeah.
Because now they've got what many consider probably the second best corner in the NFL, or some would say at least.
Some would.
I think he's made 2 All-Pros already. So, I mean, he's up there, no doubt. He's not a DPOY like the for sure best corner in the NFL, but
he's given up less than 5 touchdowns his entire career.
Well, and it's hard to just gauge. It's still the Jet. I don't know. It's hard to just look at that.
Bro, yeah, he's a lockdown corner, and part of being a lockdown corner is the stats don't always bear it out because when you're really locked down, they don't throw the ball at you.
No, they don't look your way at all.
Like, let me tell you something. In my flag football days, at one point, I was a lockdown corner, right? We didn't catch a lot of picks. We didn't break up a lot of passes because they didn't throw the ball over there.
Yeah, you were always there.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm here.
They're like, ooh, that looks like a bad decision.
Well, when I dice you for 2 and 3 tubs on the other side of the ball, do you really want to throw it over here? I see what I do when I get this thing in my hand. Pause.
Yeah, he's a ball hawk.
Hawk Tua.
Yeah, he's really got a nose for that thing. But
hey, when that skin's in the air, I'm grabbing it.
Yeah.
What? Jalen Phillips to the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a solid move for them. They lost a lot on that defense. They still are, they were 6-2 going into their bye.
They're not good this year. This is like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and we'll get into when they lost to Tampa in that first round game, and that we'll get into it once we get to the picks. But obviously, I've got a surprise for that game. Maybe I'm giving it away right now. Yeah, it just they don't move the needle. They don't like last year. They were pretty dominant. It felt like they were dominant.
It looked different.
Yeah, they were dominant. They were dominant running the ball in. They were dominant, on defense. Yeah, they played complementary football. Literally, that's literally what the Eagles were last year. The best example of what complementary football should look like. And so,
one of the better teams, both sides of the ball, that like I've watched in a while last year. Like, they're not going to go down as one of the best teams of all time because they don't have a lot of like the showy stats that make it look good. Yeah. But when you just think about just good, solid football teams that line up every fucking down and just play good football, those are one of the better teams I've seen in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so, I mean, that move for them, we'll see what it does, right? Like, I don't think that that's anything that's putting them over the top to be a favorite in the NFC. Like, some people still have them as a favorite. I don't. Like, I don't think that they're going to win their division by default in a weird way.
Yeah.
Right? Because Dallas kind of missed their opportunity. to at least kind of stay a little bit in it. But now they kind of, because the Giants aren't going to win enough games, and the Commanders, I mean, obviously, their season's over too. So it's like anyone that's watched Marcus Mariota play football knows that he's not capable of winning a lot of football games. That's why he hasn't done it yet. And so, yeah, I guess I like that move for them to just shore up pass rush. But
are you mad at DQ for keeping Jaden in the game?
I think that he shouldn't have, and it's not because of what happened, but it's because like that is why you take him out, literally for that reason. And he knew that, like he knew better than that. He knew that game was over. That was literally the worst possible case scenario that could kind of happen in a situation like that. Now, luckily for him, it was just a dislocated elbow, right? So it wasn't like
non-throwing.
He didn't tear, yeah, and it wasn't like he tore his ACL to where, oh man, he could miss time next year for that. Like, so there's a chance he'll come back this year. I will probably just keep him on ice because the season's going to be over. But yeah, not a good move by DQ.
No, I don't like it, but I also don't like that we're playing the result, because if we take him at his word, he said, hey, this was the last drive. I was trying to get some positive momentum, get a good drive with the starters before I pulled them. And, I mean, it's football, dog. At the end of the day, it's football. And sometimes when you play football, people get hurt.
Shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens. And you can't pick the play. Like Bill Belichick used to say, if I know the play that a player is going to get hurt, I'll pull him out the play before. Yeah. You know, and it sounds so simple, but it's kind of necessary to say because you got coaches getting beat up. Like, you got Jay Gruden on the arena talking about it, doing his
What did he say? What did Jay say?
Jay was he placed some of the blame on Jaden. He placed some of the blame on Cliff. He's like, hey, man, pretty much football players play, but like you can't. He was like, he read it wrong. It should have been a give. And you got to understand in this situation, in the game that you can't win, Jaden, you don't run the ball. Like, yeah, it was a scramble, but like in this game, you don't run. You get rid of the ball. You go to the sideline because whatever yards you're going to get, it doesn't change anything. But he was like, he's a football player. So that's what he's going to do, given the opportunity to play football. So you have to protect him from himself. So it wasn't bad analysis. Just Jay Gruden sounds like John Gruden. He's just such a dick.
I mean, he's his brother. His
presentation is just so dicky.
Oh, as a matter of fact?
Yeah. It's just like, all right, man. Like, you didn't get a second job.
I'm going to start tuning into the arena more. And I feel like because that's the organization he worked with, too, of course, he's going to have a real type of opinion on it, even though it's different ownership and everything now.
And they made the RG3 comparisons, and he was being nice about RG3.
Yeah.
He was like, Jaden Daniels and RG3, they're not the same person.
They're not, though.
Well, yeah, but you know why he was saying it? Because of what we've heard about RG3.
Yeah.
For one, he's a cornball brother. He's not like us. Where Jaden Daniels is a nigga.
A nigga that you think should be, now that he's injured, somebody else is injured, they should be getting some stuff done. But
hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about, and so do you. We don't have to tell the viewers what we're talking about, but anyone that follows this stuff, they kind of get the hint there.
I take offense to that because that was said in confidence. And I even thought about airing you out on the Detroit mayor today. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be a good guy. I'm not even going to bring that up on the show, but I feel attacked. So, you know what you said last
week. We'll get the culture hour. You can bring up anything you want from a political standpoint. I didn't say anything wrong. I said something that made sense, actually. You did. What you said made sense. It makes sense. Maybe not right this second. I mean, I was saying it probably, pump the brakes, wait until she gets that second contract. But anywho, yeah. Seattle looked great in that game, though, by the way. That looks like a team which they were ranked number 1 in the NFL's power rankings. They were rated the number 1 team. They look fantastic.
And they got a deep threat.
Yeah, man. Clint Kubiak, we'll see you next year because that's what it's looking like. It's looking like we're going to probably hire you. That is what it's looking like because we're going to have to go get an offensive-minded head coach. And, you know, the Saints looked good for like 2 weeks last year. And he was running that show too.
Hey, but guess who else we can have as like a secret coach that's not on the payroll, kind of like San Francisco has?
Who's that?
Oh, Gary Kubiak.
Yeah.
You know, that guy can coach a little bit.
He's got himself a Super Bowl, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
You know, and
he's basically, I don't know. Yeah, he's a Shanahan. I mean, at this point.
He was a backup for John Elway. And then he coached.
He hired Kyle as his OC Texans. Yeah. And Matt Schaub put up great numbers. And he has no mobility.
And the last time we had a Shanahan offense in Atlanta, we had an MVP.
We had an MVP. We went to a Super Bowl. Should have won a Super Bowl.
I'm just saying, you know, Clint.
Yeah.
That was not bad. Your wife will love Sandy Springs.
Yeah.
Or even if you want to live closer to the facility, you can go to Gwinnett County. Y'all love it up there.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's just wishful thinking.
Yeah, but hey, Seattle's the real deal. Mike McDonald's the real deal. And Sam Darnold is...
Oh, JSN is the best. I really don't want to overreact. And maybe it's because he's on my fantasy team, which we'll get to that later since we've got a big showdown here, guys. It's the Washington Winning Bowl.
Hey, now go ahead and say your crazy comment, man. I want you on the. I don't even want to be on the camera when you say that.
What was the crazy comment that I made?
You're about to say somebody's the best receiver in the league, and I don't want to be associated with that. So I just want you to say that, and I'll rejoin you.
JSN is having the best season of any wide receiver in the NFL. I don't think it's crazy to think that maybe he is the best receiver in the league. We're getting to see him as a 1 for the first time, and those numbers are eye-popping. I mean, he's on pace right now to break Calvin Johnson's record for yards in a season. Now, granted, of course, extra game now, but I mean, he's looked great. I mean, every week, 8-9 catches over 100 yards. He might score. He didn't have to score last week because, you know, the attention that he's given is giving everybody else an opportunity. Sam Darnold threw a touchdown like 3 or 4 different dudes. So, and he wasn't one of them. So it's like, I don't know. You know, they're winning. Cooper Kupp has kind of been a shell of himself. Obviously, they go out and get Rashid Shaheed. We didn't even bring him up in the trade talk, but he's a nice little deep threat to add to that team. I like what Seattle's got going. I mean, think about it, we got to run into them too later on this year. They'll be back here as they were last year. But
that'll be ugly.
Yeah, it could be. Could get real ugly, actually.
I mean, ugly.
And especially depending on what happens on Sunday, it could get real fucking ugly.
Lamar looked good last week.
Yeah.
Mahomes lost to Josh Allen in the regular season. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Much ado about nothing. Just more same old same, right?
Yeah. Is there anything else that really matters?
Hold on. I'm looking at the schedule.
Okay, Peacock.
No, nothing that just pops out. You know, obviously the Bears-Bengals game was highly entertaining for anyone that watched the last 2 minutes of it. But you know, one of those teams is a potential playoff team, and the other's not going to the playoffs. So it's just kind of like, JJ McCarthy, big win going to Detroit because I don't think anyone saw that coming. I didn't see it coming.
No, I didn't.
And for that to have been his third start, it's like, okay. You know, he's 2-1 as a starter. He's got that blemish on his record right now of who he lost to. But, you know, everybody gets a mulligan.
Yeah, we need JJ McCarthy to really lock in on number 18. He's not.
by far the best division in football, right?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, no one's bad.
Yeah. When Minnesota's your last place team, I mean,
No
put it
one's
this
bad.
way: Minnesota, if they were in our division, they wouldn't be better than Tampa, but God, they'd be fucking close. It'd be real close.
Ooh, B-Flow and Todd Bowles dialing up on defense.
Yeah.
That gets the blood going a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
makes you do a Kegel or two.
Yeah.
I know Kegels are good for men too.
Yeah.
Having a good
There's a lot down there. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, we didn't really get anything else. I mean, you got a huge performance out of Brock Bowers. He was back this week and made his presence felt. But
Right, yeah, 35 points. Shout out to Brock Bowers. Hey, Josh Holsey. Great game, man.
yeah.
I mean, but I think we're here. We might as well talk about it. I don't care if the fans want to hear it. We're on to Cincinnati this week.
Cincinnati, huh? Yeah. I think we got ourselves a big matchup. Obviously, we are tied record-wise. I have the tiebreaker because I have more points. But, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think this week it will – this is a big deal, not just because we're tied, but literally, in my case at least, if I beat you and I beat you bad, not only does it – I mean, we're in the playoffs for the – like, we're both going, so like that's not going to be an issue. But this will probably decide our side of the division, no doubt. Like, in my case, it's like a de facto 2-game lead, kind of.
Bro, Justice is hanging on though.
He won't win. He's not going to win that side of the division though. And I mean, yeah, he's getting lucky because Rico Dowdle is looking like the best fucking running back in the NFL for whatever reason. But I don't think he's strong enough at quarterback. Caleb Williams is still a little up and down himself. Like when he plays well, he does play really well, but like he's still kind of up and down. You know, and I've just got this, you know, this roster that's going to be really hard to beat. You know, he likes to bring up that he beat me, but the issue with him beating me was that, again, he had his highest scoring performance. I didn't play bad. I scored like 115 points that week. But he had 2 running backs that scored 30 points. So that's going to always be hard to really beat on any given week. So that won't happen again. Yeah, you know.
I mean, I'm just looking at the league. The league's competitive as hell this year.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Gambles' team is seriously the one to watch out for. Like top to bottom, he's kind of got the team.
Nigga, you saw what he did to me when I had a bad week. Like I could have had a great week and I'm still not winning. He put up like 160.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And
like I'm only mad that I got beat that badly simply because I just needed the points for standings. Because my point differential is nasty.
Yeah, and look, I had to get over that after week 1. That's kind of where I was at, you know, and that's why we made the trades that we made. We got Justin Herbert in the saddle because I said, I said, that CJ Stroud shit's not going to fucking work. It's not going to float this year. I do it every year. Every year, everybody knows I draft my team up very well. Typically, quarterback is the last thing I worry about because I can always make a trade with somebody to get one. And in this case, Mr. Holsey needed a running back. He got one, which DeAndre Swift's actually performed pretty well, but I think Justin Herbert I won that trade.
You know,
I have Justin Herbert.
DeAndre Swift, I'm pretty sure he was available on waivers. Or maybe that was my other league, but I'm pretty sure he was available on waivers this week.
No, that's your other league.
Okay. Somebody.
You know nobody's dropping a DeAndre Swift in our league. You know, you look up, maybe you'll see Pacheco, sure, right? But like,
I mean, I got to start DeMarcado this week.
Yeah, I dropped him today.
Yeah, I know. I just grabbed him.
Yeah, well, I saw big news out of Buffalo about a certain running back not practicing, and you know,
you went after Singletary. Not Singletary.
Ray Davis.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're gonna give DeMarcado a chance this week because we don't have much of an option unless somebody wants to trade. But you know, niggas don't want to trade with me.
So, but we're at that point in the season where it's almost hard to make a trade because you're jockeying for position. And if you've got to play that person, you can't make a trade with that person. Like,
oh, see, I'm not hamstrung by that. If I need a player and I need him for my team, I'm not worried about what he does for someone else's team, what the trade does for somebody else's team, because if I need that person and I believe that person is going to give me points, I'm taking that risk. Like, I'm a Bill Belichick type of guy. Like he traded Drew Bledsoe in division.
Yeah.
He let Lawyer Malloy stay in the division. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
nigga, if I need somebody or I need you gone, I don't care where you go because I don't value you anymore.
Right. It doesn't have much to do with what it is that we've got going on over here. So therefore, we're okay with you doing what you got to do because we're going to do what we've got to do.
Golly, Jake Elliott sucks this year.
Does he?
Yeah, I got to find me a kicker because, Brandon Aubrey's on bye. But, like, you don't drop Brandon Aubrey because he's on bye.
No, we ain't.
You got to carry 2 kickers for a week.
Yeah, that's, and then the best part about it is that you'll literally, not have to worry about kicker the rest of the year. Yeah, and let me tell you something, too, what a lot of people don't realize. I got absolutely fucked this year. So it's remarkable that I've got technically the best record in the league because Malik Neighbors went out after week 3 or during week 3. So I got him for 2 games. Terry McLaurin was my 3rd pick. He essentially hasn't played all year. So that's 2 wide receivers. Now, I have the hindsight to draft JSN, but and he's just having a historic, basically, season so far. But you playing the little, yeah. Well, nobody should feel bad for me. I tied for the best record, most points in the league. It's okay. I beat technically the previous best team in the league last week, convincingly.
You're sitting at 7-2.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it right now. The projections has you at 110.06, me at 108.57. Like this is the beauty of this fantasy football shit. Like when you get a clash of the Titans, this is the type of shit you want to see.
Yeah.
And you're playing like you're over here doing all this crying and shit.
I'm not crying. I'm just saying I've overcome a lot of adversity this season with my team.
We talk about adversity. Mike Evans is cooked for the season, man.
Yeah, but you got Ibuka.
Okay, nigga, I'm smart. I draft well.
I draft well, too. That's why my team is still in the position that it's in. But I'm just saying, you got literally the beneficiary of it. Like, Matt's in a terrible position because Rico Dowdle took over Tuba Hubbard's job. So now he no longer has an RB1.
Hold on.
That's hard to recover from.
Who did you say?
Rico Dowdle. He took over.
Whose team?
Oh, Matt Flowers.
Why the fuck are you talking about his team and shit that matters in the league? I know he's knocking on the door to playoffs.
Matt's he doesn't have a bad team. I don't think he's gonna win, but he's got Waddle, he's got Adams, and he's got St. Brown. That's a fucking hell of a wide receiver trio to have today.
But we're talking about Matt Flowers in the locker room.
He's got Jake Ferguson, who's been having a huge year for the Cowboys. He unfortunately for him, he lost Tucker Kraft, who was also having a huge year. He's got Dak. He's got Matt Stafford. He's in a good spot.
But we're talking about Matt Flowers in our fantasy league.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. He's a non-factor, right?
Yeah, but I'm just looking at this shit, right? I barely beat Josh. Josh could be 4-5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Will put me at 6-3, but whatever. We're both at the top. Me, you, and Nico are all 7-2.
Yeah.
Then we got Gambles at 6-3, who's the sleeping giant who could fuck around and win the league this year, and nobody would be shocked. Like, I'm sorry, Gambles can win the league.
No, he can. I absolutely believe he's got a good enough team to win.
We got Justice at 5-4. We got JP at 5-4. We got Matt Flowers and Eric Boyd at 4-5. Then we got Broad and Josh at 3-6. Shout out to Broad.
They're out. They'd have to pretty much win out.
Hey, the commission got the first pick, and he's 2-7.
But the commission's fault. And look, it sucks Joe Burrow gets hurt, but you just don't take a wide receiver one, especially coming off of a historic season. There was no way he was going to repeat what he did last year. It's just hard to do.
Who did he take one?
Jamar Chase.
I mean, it's not a bad pick, but you probably want to go right.
You take Bijan. Who
has JT? Because I know Nico.
Yes.
Because I know I could have drafted him, and I would have never drafted him that early because, nigga, Daniel Jones is quarterback.
Yeah.
But it all worked out. Let me see. Where are we at on time? Okay, we're halfway through. Anything else, NFL, you want to talk about before we get into the college guys? Because I do want to get to college in this block because we've ignored a lot of college this year.
Yeah.
Because the NBA kind of crept up on us, and we're doing these 2-hour shows. And just for the viewers, yeah, we do pre-production, but like this show flows. So getting the timing right, it's still a work. There's still some work going on here. Okay, guys, bear with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, fucking. Let's talk a little college ball. We got our first college football rankings coming out. Came out yesterday. I probably should have had it up already before I'm
way ahead of you. I'm getting it right now.
You're way ahead of me, but I already got it up.
Oh, well.
New Kung Fu Kitty.
So we got Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, Texas A&M at 3. Please stop me if you see something that doesn't make sense to you. Okay. Alabama at 4, Georgia at 5, Ole Miss at 6, BYU at 7, Texas Tech at 8, Oregon at 9. Talk to me.
We know why BYU is 7, but BYU is not the 7th best team in the country. I understand why they're there. It's because they haven't lost a game. But should BYU really be number 7? Probably not. And look, to their credit, they play Texas Tech this week. So obviously something's going to give there. I think Texas Tech's going to win. We'll get to that later in the picks. But like,
I think
Texas Tech's legit. That is a legit team.
I think they're positioned there because they in Oregon are really the only West Coast teams that have a chance.
Yeah.
And even if they lose to BYU and it's not BYU to Texas Tech and it's a close game, by having them at 7, they don't drop too far and it keeps them close. Because one thing we know about these rankings is they keep certain teams in certain positions, especially in that first poll, so that they can kind of manipulate the playoffs.
Right. Because if you look at Notre Dame, right, and they're always going to be, I would say, arguably the most talked about team because they're not in a conference.
Yeah.
They start off, they lose their first 2 games, which the Miami loss is starting to not look very good, but still at the top.
But real quick, the Miami loss isn't that bad because when you're looking at Miami's losses, it's when Carson Beck plays like shit.
Right.
And Carson Beck played well. And we know this as Georgia fans, when Carson Beck plays well, hard got to beat, especially when he has a team.
No, these are facts, but I guess I'm looking at it, and it's just one of those things where, that's a 3-loss ACC school right now. Like, they're not going to the ACC title game. So, not looking too great. Obviously, the Texas A&M loss looks fantastic because Texas A&M looks like the best team in the SEC right now. But to their credit, they haven't lost a game since, and they don't appear like they're going to lose another game. I mean, they still got to play USC, which can be a trappish kind of game, maybe. I don't know. It probably won't be, but, like, it can be. And USC, they continue to win, too, which sets up to where at least, hey, that'll be a 9-win team or something that we beat at the end of the year. But if they run off 10 in a row and no conference championship game, the chips kind of fall where they may. And if it came down to similar to how last year, right, like SMU, a lot of teams were like, you got to put SMU in. Even though they lost to Clemson in the ACC title game, it was like, you can't leave SMU out. Like, SMU's got to get in. Then they did end up getting in. Notre Dame's always going to have that spot on lock.
Yeah.
Because of money.
Yeah, money. And to Notre Dame's credit, they have, I mean, from BK to now, they're putting a product on the field that usually speaks to them deserving to be where they are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Notre Dame is one of the better programs in the country. And so I give Notre Dame the benefit of the doubt, just like we give Georgia, LSU, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan when they're rolling. Like certain programs get the benefit of the doubt just because of who they are. So I like that. But let's continue. And then we'll go back and I have some comments. We got Texas Tech 8, Oregon 9, Notre Dame 10, Texas 11. We're going to keep Texas close because if we can get Texas, if Texas beats Georgia, oh God, the networks are happy. Okay, trust me.
Oh, they're busted.
Oklahoma at 12, Utah at 13, Virginia at 14, Louisville at 15, Vandy at 16, Georgia Tech with the precipitous fall at 17, Miami at 18, Southern Cal at 19, Iowa, who gives a fuck, at 20, Michigan at 21, Missouri at 22, Washington at 23, Pittsburgh at 24, and the Power T, Rocky Top will always be home, sweet home to me. My alma mater, University of Tennessee, at 25.
Yeah, and the reason why too, and we go through that whole entire ranking is because it does matter, right? Because now the teams that are ranked on that back end are what strengthen arguments for the teams that are sitting there at 15, 16, 14, 13, right? And the teams that are in currently. It strengthens it because it's like, well, this is a team that we beat, all right? Like they're a ranked team. Their losses are to quality opponents, i.e. us. It's crazy for Tech, but it makes a lot of sense. Clemson has fallen so far. That was the Tech signature win this year. They were the second team to beat Clemson. So, like, it appeared that, you know what I mean? Like, that was a strong win at the time because Clemson did only lose to LSU, who now is also falling off the – like, they just completely fallen out of this – like, everything is fucked up.
Well, you thought the Clemson win was a John Hancock, and it's more like a Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
In the sense of, if you've ever looked at and read the Declaration of Independence, John Hancock has the largest signature on there. Thomas Jefferson has a noticeable signature in there, and he's Thomas Jefferson, and he's him. But when they like drafted this document and they had niggas sign it, John Hancock was Himothy at that point in time in history. So we thought that Clemson win was a John Hancock type of victory, a signature win, but it was Thomas Jefferson. It deserves respect, but at the time, you know what I mean? It ain't that.
Yeah.
But I look at the top of it. I don't believe that Indiana can beat Alabama. I know Alabama has a ugly fucking loss to start.
That's another one though. Think about it. That's another one. Like
it's an ugly loss, but it was week 1. Todd Simpson's finally the guy, and you just didn't look good week 1. But for Alabama to have knocked off 4 ranked opponents in 4 weeks or whatever in 4 games, they're rolling, they're humming. I wouldn't put them above Ohio State because there's no argument for it because Ohio State's undefeated, and that's just how we look at college football, despite the schedule. And Ohio State did beat Texas barely when Arch Manning wasn't the guy we've been seeing the last couple of weeks. But I really think Alabama's the best team in the country, and I don't think Georgia's far off. Ohio State is really good, and they may be the best team, but I don't believe in Big Ten strength of schedule because, like, the top of the Big Ten is good, but, like, the good teams that win games inside of the Big Ten and have good records, like your Iowas of the world, they're not that fucking good when you're talking about playing against NFL talent, you know?
Well, they're mauling on Minnesota, who's also 4-4. They're mauling on, they get a Purdue in a spot, they beat them by 40. Like
And
They
like you
beat they
have
beat Michigan State. They played a Michigan team that can't score points. Like
right.
these are those wins for these type of programs.
And Ohio State is built like an SEC team, but they're playing against Big Ten athletes week in and week out.
I am listening. Give me 1 second.
You good? Like so, because they play these Big Ten teams week in and week out, you don't have the same type of athletes to compare. So it looks different, even though these are quality teams. But when you actually play against the big dogs, it doesn't always look the same. So I'm hesitant on a lot of the Big Ten stuff because, yes, it's high level college football, the really good players, pro players. But at some of the key positions, you don't always see the same level of athlete and pro prospect. And yeah, I shit on Iowa, and Iowa is tight end U, and they're responsible for the two white corners in the NFL who are actually both good players. My man's in Philly and my man's in Denver. Cooper DeJean, and I can't think of the other guy's name right now, and I'm not going to look it up. But that's something. While we're waiting on Parlay Pete to come back, I want to have a quick conversation, though, about coaching. You know, we've seen all these coaches get fired. Hugh Freeze being one of the newest ones fired. And college football has to get something figured out. We've got to get something figured out. We've got to regulate the schedule for one. Because until we regulate the schedule, we got player movement, we got coach movement all throughout the season, and that's not good for anybody. We've got to get these buyouts under control. I understand that the Jimmy Sextons of the world, they want their cash, and they're going to do what they can to get their cash. But the schools themselves, the conferences, somebody has got to step in to protect themselves from this money. Because you hear the Louisiana governor come out talking and pretty much saying, hey, we're not going to keep giving out these contracts because my taxpayers have to pay them. And that's unfair to the taxpayers that we got to pay this big bill that the school agreed to for this guy to come in and now he's not doing what we expect him to do. So we kick him out. So I'm not going to say let's lower the annual salary for these coaches, but can we shorten up the deals? Especially for guys on their first contract at the school, you know, especially a guy who doesn't have ties to a school. Now, I understand Kirby Smart, and it's not because I'm a Georgia fan. You give Kirby the long-term deal because he gets to Georgia, he starts winning, he gets to a natty, something Mark Richt didn't get us to. We lose, we end up finally getting back, we win 2 in a row, and we're in the playoffs every year. Yeah, bro, like, get Kirby a long-term deal. He's the best coach in college football, and he's a Bulldog. He's not going anywhere. Dabo, whatever his deal is, I understand giving Dabo that long-term deal. Why? Dabo's won 2 natties at Clemson. He's a Clemson guy. You don't expect Dabo to go anywhere, and then when Dabo leaves, you're going to do that. You're gonna mutually part ways. So it all works out. Like everybody's good. You know what I'm saying? Like Dabo's not leaving Clemson on Clemson's terms more times tonight. He's gonna leave on Dabo's terms because of what he did. But when you're talking about giving Brian Kelly like a 9-10 year deal when he shows up, you're talking about giving what's my man's name? Jimbo that big extension when he hadn't done shit. Like, I understand James Franklin. He spent 12 years. He spent 12 years up there at Penn State. So wherever he was at in his contract, I understand him having a long-term deal because he was committed to Penn State and he was producing at Penn State, although not winning national championships, even though Joe Paul only got one. So
we can't be mad at Jimbo, though. Jimbo, for what it's worth, which it doesn't happen that often, Texas A&M was able to take a coach that had won a national championship. Those don't typically, you know what I mean? Like Urban Meyer was another one, but he technically was retired, so he didn't get poached from the school. Like Jimbo didn't get fired from Florida State. They just like started. I'm sure Jimmy Sexton started negotiating. And he's like, because if you remember, Jimbo used to complain about Florida State's like their athletic, like just the shit, like everything, like the facilities were shitty. Is what he said. A&M got a boatload of money. NIL was kind of starting to come into play a little bit. I know at least towards the tail end of it. Because then that's why people started. If you remember, Jimbo and Nick got into it because Nick's like, yeah, because they're fucking paying for players at Texas A&M, is what he said. But I'm just saying, I don't want to throw Jimbo in there because they didn't really have much of a choice but to give Jimbo like what he wanted.
No, but I think Jimbo. I want to say Jimbo.
And Jimbo's gonna get. Jimbo's gonna get a job this cycle too.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I want to say that. So he signed a 10-year, $75 million deal in 2018. Then he got extended to a 10-year, $95 million. My point about Jimbo is at Texas A&M, not at Florida State. At Texas A&M, I'm not giving Jimbo Fisher 10 years. Jimbo Fisher has done nothing to say that he deserves 10 years at Texas A&M. I understand he won the Natty at Florida, and we want to get Jimbo to come turn our program around. Yeah. Got it. I'm not giving him 10 years, though. Like 5. 7, maybe.
5, and then we'll extend you after year 3.
Exactly.
Or year 2 or 1 if you Kurt Signetti this thing,
Exactly. But I'm not giving you 10 off the rip, and then when we go for it when we renegotiate your contract and give you an extension, I'm not giving you another 10-year. That's my only point. I don't think all of these coaches who are going to new places who haven't established something there should get contracts that long, especially at the public institutions where the taxpayers are responsible for funding the fucking school.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I can agree with you there.
Like Kirby, his 10-year makes sense. He's a Bulldog. Kirby don't want to leave Georgia.
And Georgia doesn't want Kirby to leave them.
Right. Like Kirby should what's my man's name? Vince Dooley?
Hey, they are happily married, nigga.
Yes.
like he doesn't even have other women's phone numbers, Hey,
don't go that far. That's not
he's not friends with them on Instagram. He's that happily married.
No, he's so happily married that he can be friends with them on Instagram, and there's not even a thought of objectifying them when they post the bullshit that looks good on the timeline. Just like, yo, what is she doing, man? Hey, yo, why am I in your close friends? I'm married. I don't even like this shit, bro. Like,
yeah,
like, girl, stop.
Yeah.
But Hugh Freeze fired. I think Auburn is suffering from somewhat of what LSU is suffering from, and honestly what Florida is suffering from.
Yeah.
Sometimes good is good enough. Hey, just be good for a while. Eventually you can become, if you're good can become great. But if you're just not happy with good and you're resetting and you're constantly resetting, like that doesn't make sense. Work through your problems.
For a lot of those people, though, we got to be better than Big Brother, right? And Big Brother, all they do is compete for national championships. I got to be better than Big Brother.
When were you better than Big Brother?
They won a duel or here and there, but the thing is that that's how those people are going to look at it. I mean, you listen to the Paul Feinbaum show. Those people care.
I'm talking about the people, the decision makers.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't care, but the fan base, everybody's going to kind of put that pressure on them to, no, we've got to do this. We have to do this. It doesn't mean that they have to listen, but then again, you probably should listen to your fan base too, in reality. I mean, the Falcons don't listen to us, and look where that's got them, right? Yeah, that's pros versus college, but still, it's the same, at this point, it's the same thing. And so Auburn is just, they're in a tough spot at the end of the day. They're not the best team in their own state, so they can't get the best players from their own state. They're not the best team in any rivalry that they have. They're the little brother against Georgia too. Shit, Georgia fucking owns Auburn.
We do now. They had a run where it's like, we don't.
They're getting bullshit like Nick Marshall completing a pass. Like, it's like dumb shit though.
Well, we should have let Nick Marshall stay on the roster. Who cares if he
could have been a hell of a corner, huh?
Well, he wanted to be a quarterback. Let the man go try to play quarterback.
Yeah, got him to a natty. But
I mean, Zach
and
Mettenberger.
actually, let's give Gus Malzahn a lot of credit here too.
Yeah.
Even though it's not looking too good for him, he's going to be one and done at Florida State as the OC.
Well, that look here, Norvell, man.
Woach Wine.
Please.
You know that's what's going to happen too.
And I think Woach Wine will actually work there. But Parlay Pete, you remember when I used to tell you, and maybe you don't remember, but I'm like, hey, Georgia fans need to relax. And this was before we won our back-to-backs. Yeah. I'm like, hey, Georgia is Michigan, is Texas, okay? Flagship school in the state, provides a great education. Like, these are like real colleges, not just football schools like Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah. You mean where the acceptance rate is at 78%? Like,
you know what I mean? Like, smart niggas get turned down from Georgia. Yeah. But like you're a 9-10 win program that when things go right, you got the right coach, everything, you become a national championship type program. But you're not Alabama, you're not an Ohio State. Hell, you're not even a USC, if we're being honest. Yeah. Like, I'm just talking about historically championship standard. And I think that these fans who may have won championships or may have come close to winning championships, even LSU, right? LSU has won championships in our life, but LSU has not been
historically is not that.
Yeah, they're not like back to back. They're not going on crazy runs. None of the coaches who have natties at LSU won multiple natties. Yeah, they were competitive every year. But like, stop holding yourself to this Saban at Alabama standard, because what he did was historic. That's not the measuring stick, my nigga.
Yeah.
Like if you're an NBA player and you go out and you working out against KD and you get your ass bust by KD, that doesn't mean you're not an NBA player. That doesn't mean you're not a good NBA player. That means, hey, this person is like different.
Yeah.
You like different, my nigga. Like, he ain't like the rest of us. So
he's a generational figure.
Exactly. So
literally, there's only one that can come. There aren't two. I mean, Herb's close.
And that's when Florida made their runs, they had legendary coaches. They had Spurrier, who got one, and you had Urban, who got two. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to understand that you want to catch lightning, and you want to be really good and then catch lightning in a bottle in a couple years. Because even Saban, he won 6. Which is a lot.
Yeah.
But damn near 20 years, he won 6. He wasn't winning it every fucking year.
Yeah.
And he didn't get to the natty every fucking year. He didn't win the SEC every year. LSU had their chances. Georgia had their chances. Florida had their run. You know what I mean? Like, other teams had opportunities to win. So, y'all, be patient. Yeah. I'm not saying stick with Mark Richt for 15 years, but God damn it, don't fire your coach after 4 because, hey, man, we're not competing for a natty. You know, we're finishing 4th in the SEC, and the top 3 teams are making the playoffs.
All right. I think Hugh Freeze had been given enough time, though, to show progress, and I think that's where the difference comes in, right? Where's the progress? Auburn hadn't really made any progress. Like, they're 6-6, and that is not the standard there. The standard would be 8 or 9 wins. Yeah. He hadn't done it, and this was year 3 or 4. I don't even remember. But, like, he didn't show any progress. But then again, a guy like Hugh Freeze, I wonder what his buyout was, because Hugh Freeze, it wasn't like he had really proven anything. He revitalized himself at Liberty, made them a football program that bettors love to bet on, because they were playing against really slack competition, and he put Malik Willis in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, that's his legacy there. At Ole Miss, he was a cheater. They beat Alabama, but they were never serious contenders while he was there either.
Biles 15.8.
Oof. So what? He probably had 2 more years, year and a half.
Yeah, he was getting 6 point. He was getting 6.5-ish a year. So yeah, 2.5.
That's not bad for a guy like Hugh. But
No. 15 million is not terrible. We're saying that like niggas who have just
yeah,
touched
hey,
the
like it's a $15,000 bonus to work somewhere or something.
yeah,
That's pretty
you know what I
good. It's
mean?
like,
I mean, but when you're talking about Franklin and Kelly getting 50 large, it's like, hey man.
yeah, but that goes to show that there's levels to it too when it comes to coach, which is why Kirby's is 100 million, right? Like there's levels to it.
Well, Kirby's is set up because look.
Well, because he's never going to be gone.
That buyout doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You want to get to some hoops?
Let's get to some basketball.
I get. You want to talk about? I mean, do we open up with Ja?
You mean Morant? Yeah, we got to start off with
All right, man. So let's take it to Friday, Lakers game. Ja appears to be disengaged in the huddle. It becomes a thing that people focus on. And shout out to Gilbert Arenas for pointing out that in that same huddle, KCP was talking to some woman and like scratching his ass and not paying attention either. And the point that Gilbert made was, bro, he wasn't in the game. So the play that the coach is drawing up, it really don't matter to him. Like, I get from the team point of view, he should be locked in, but like, nigga, no, I'm not. I don't care. And hey, I didn't want you to zoom out, camera. So then
that's a hat closet there too, by the way. I didn't say it earlier in pre-production, but
hey, you know what? I figured the hat closet on the outside of the door looks better than the fucking door.
Yeah.
That brown door is ugly. But anyways, so then after the game, Ja's asked a series of questions, and pretty much he just says, ask the coaching staff. And he was like, based on what they said, we're better off if I ain't playing. So what it tells me is they got into it at halftime, and Ja let that nigga know how he felt. And the coach probably said our plus minus is X, Y, and Z. And that's when you're off the court versus when you're on the court. And that's why we run these rotations.
Yeah.
And Ja was like, yeah, nigga, fuck all that shit. Like, I'm fine. And he was like, hey, if y'all better without me, then all right, nigga, prove it. And so then Ja ends up getting suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. More than likely, he and coach got into it after the game and were yelling. They said that pretty much that the coach called him out for his lack of leadership and effort. And Ja responded in a way that wasn't great. He plays in the game on Monday. He gets to interview after the game, and he says that he's lost his joy playing basketball. So, for one, Ja's gone. I want to talk about potential trades for Ja, but also I want to have a conversation about this with the coach because the players are defending Ja, even calling him out and holding him accountable, but defending him overall. The media supporting the coach, typical. And I think regular people should have a conversation because I think it could be a bit more nuanced for us because we can see both sides of it while understanding that coaches are authority figures that deserve respect. But coaches who have won in the Euro League coming to the NBA, trying to tell NBA players we're going to do things a little bit differently, especially stars, that doesn't go over well. Shout out to David Blatt. So I just want to put that out there to frame the conversation. But what are your thoughts on the Ja piece?
I mean, at the end of the day, and see, I didn't see what you saw on Gil's Arena. I think it's funny you saying KCP was talking to some broad and scratching his ass.
Gil's words, not mine.
Yeah, but that's just an interesting thing. It's just like, look, almost like they were breaking it down in slow. He's like, all right, now look at him. Like, but no, seriously. Yeah, I mean, this is just a product of it's over with, relationship wise. I think that it's over with. I think that his time there is going to come to an end and that it should be over. Honestly, in a weird way, it hasn't worked. They were always a little bit of that.
No, it's not. It's worked. It's worked. Don't say it hasn't worked.
It's worked for what Memphis is used to, but it hasn't worked overall in terms of what the ultimate goal should be, which kind of gets back to even what our football conversation was about. That's good for Memphis. Just like in Atlanta, if we're a 2 or a 3 seed, everybody's thrilled, right? But that doesn't work in LA. You know what I mean? It doesn't work with the Boston.
But it's Memphis, and Memphis has a star that gets them on national TV. Niggas wasn't watching Grit and Grind. Only basketball players like that shit. Niggas is watching Ja. kids is buying the Ja Morant shoe. When I look at basketball, I see that Ja 3 every time I'm watching TV.
Right. And so I guess my thought on this, at least overall, is that Ja is in a position where the rubber's meeting the road. It's one of these points in his career where he's already had all this shit that's happened. Now you're adding this on. It's a new coaching regime. You know, I'm not going to say there's rumors of the team relocating, which I think we support that on this show, and we've talked about it before.
Send them to Nashville. I don't want them to go to the other
Seattle, huh? You don't want them to be the Supersonic.
No, like, come on, man. Let's make some people pony up some billions to give it to the other owners. The owners want expansion.
Right. But then from the coach's perspective, I also understand it, right? Like if they get into it and it's he's got to set the tone and have the culture that he wants to bring to the team. And his hope is that his best player is going to buy in, right? So he has to be okay with that. He can't be, like a Coach Fizz or a Coach Ra. These are the type of guys that are in with the players too deep, like to the point at where,
Stay here with me because I want you to keep going. But just to rebut that quickly, with Ja acting this way, and Chris Vernon reported it on Zach Lowe's podcast, and from what we've seen and what we've heard, Ja has never been an internal problem. We've heard nothing about Ja being a problem as the player.
Yeah,
the guy,
it's everything outside of work.
Exactly, and whatever. You know what I mean? But like we've not heard basketball issues with Ja. You fire his coach, who he loved, 9 games before the season was over. You bring in these assistants that Taylor Jenkins didn't hire to bring in a new offense that Ja didn't like. And then this assistant that you brought in from Europe, he's an assistant for a year, and you brought him in to be the head coach. So during his time as an assistant, pretty much knowing he's going to get the job, shouldn't he have been building that relationship with Ja? Then when he gets the job, playoffs, building that relationship with Ja off season, because Ja's committed to Memphis. He got it on his back. He got the mansion in Memphis. He's gotten in trouble in Memphis in the off season, so we know Ja be in Memphis. Wouldn't you spend the off season building that relationship, getting Ja bought in, listening to his ideas, and creating a vision that works for the team so that Ja is bought in day one of training camp?
Yeah.
Like that
would be the thought.
Yeah, that's my only not when you get say about getting bought in, new coach, setting the culture. Part of setting the culture is behind the scenes, away from everybody else, letting your star player know what the fuck you're gonna do. And like, yeah, I'm gonna ride you hard in front of everybody.
New Kung Fu Kenny.
But I'm also like, hey, me and you, we here. So I didn't
it should be more collaborative in a sense, in reality, because it's like, well, I'm the coach, but you're the coach, you're the leader on the floor, you're the point guard too. Like you're literally the coach on the floor anyways. And so,
well, when he plays 27 minutes a game, it's hard to be the coach on the floor because
well, and that gets into the Euro style of basketball, because that is how they run that shit over there. And it's just like then you start looking at the front office though, because that's where there's another aspect to this. That's the extra layer to it, because they would know what type of coach he is, and they certainly know what type of player / person Ja is. So they would know whether or not something like this would work. You're setting yourself up for failure is what you're doing. And in his case, I think that it just is time for them to move on. Like in terms of, they could keep him if they want and continue to sell jerseys, I guess. But I just think that it's time that they do move on from each other. Plus the NBA, we need another good shakeup. Yeah. I'd love to see it personally. And I think Ja would be perfect. And I mean perfect with Minnesota. But
real quick, let me give my thoughts on it, and then we'll get to destinations, right?
Traded to Atlanta too.
Come on now.
Hey.
The NBA is doing a lot of things that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
We're hiring more Euro coaches. We are the the Square NBA media are supporting the international players and the European style of basketball. We talked about scores not being enough last week. We're pushing dynamic scores out of the league based on the way that we're playing basketball, because we're doing this 5-out shit. And if you're a dynamic scorer, you don't get other people involved because we're playing this dumb basketball where we don't run plays. Because if we run plays, like if we actually run plays, the dynamic scorer, like Cam Thomas, he gets the ball when he can get it to score. But also when you're running a play, this nigga's not getting the ball all the time. So you can stop him from being a ball hog while running a coherent offense that involves everybody.
Yeah.
So we're getting to this European stuff, and the teams are starting to look a bit more European, right? Both in the way the players look, but also in their styles of play. And we got to remember, the NBA became a league that people cared about because of the stars. It wasn't about the teams. It wasn't about the team styles and the motion offense. No, we like stars in the NBA. And I understand It's important to build teams, but the problem with the way teams are being built is you got coaches like this guy in Memphis. You got front offices like Memphis's front office is appearing to be right now. And I'm not saying you coddle your fucking star player, but goddammit, you build an environment for your star player to thrive, and then you put players around that player so that your team can thrive.
Yes.
And when you got a star player, a guy who's made an All-NBA, who wins 60% of his games, like when Ja Morant's on the court, they fucking win. And he's an unselfish player. He's not a ball stopper. He gets people involved. He'll play off ball. He'll
rebound.
He'll let Triple J get 30. He used to let Bane get 30. He used to let Dylan Brooks shoot the fucking ball, okay? Like, he's not selfish. Niggas fuck with him. He's charismatic. You build around that, like owner, as a business. You build around that because that fucking sells, it gets you on goddamn TV. Coach, as a coach, you build around that because your players rock with him and you want everybody bought into what y'all are doing and what you are doing. But we're trying to do this European stuff to where the team is the most important thing, and we're trying to maximize the team. Hey, dog, niggas ain't watching the NBA. It's a bad TV product.
It's a terrible fuck.
Everybody plays the same stupid 5-out. And we talked about this last night. Bro, we like the fact that growing up, you watch the Big East. It's a style of basketball. ACC style of basketball. Niggas ain't really watched the SEC besides Kentucky and Tennessee growing up, you know what I mean, till one and done. But it was a style of basketball in the SEC. You know Florida, what I mean? Too. Yeah, in Florida. You got the Pac-12. I didn't even care about the Pac-10, Pac-12 because they just got niggas out there hooping, playing Cali ball.
UCLA, Aaron Afalo and stuff.
Yeah. But
those guys. They were pretty much the only school. I mean, they were Stanford too. But Stanford used to be a decent basketball program.
Arizona too, but Arizona had them 5 niggas coming through. Arizona State have a random nigga that's good as hell. USC have a nigga like OJ Mayo, Swaggy P. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they're not a basketball power, but they got pros coming through.
Correct.
But now everybody's and like all these guys come into the NBA and different teams play differently based on who's coaching and who's on the roster. Now they're trying to like make this shit like generic. And you know what? People don't like generic products. There's a reason why you charge more for goddamn Polo, Ralph Lauren than U.S. Polo Association. The brand matters. And when you create a brand that's distinct, people are attracted to it. So the NBA is no longer creating distinct brands, right? We're not even getting behind the players that our people can relate to. Yeah, we want all this international stuff, but hey, the NBA is made up of black people. And black people want to watch black people play basketball the way that they play. That's what made your league entertaining. Your American white people, they didn't want the thugs, right? They didn't want the thugs, but they wanted to watch the guys play basketball in a way that they couldn't fathom playing basketball. But it seems like we're trying to cater to the guys who say, I like to see teams share the ball, pass it around, do all of that. Well, the stars used to share it and pass it around until you went to the stupid European shit where we play 5-out, dog. Like, that's not good. Like, threes. Like, everything is about fucking stats and not like the stats on the box score, not the Josh score stats. Like the shit you learn in the statistics class that don't make sense to the untrained eye. they're complicating simple
The
shit.
analytics.
Bro. Yeah, like, hey, you're not as good if you play more than 30 minutes. Hey, this nigga tired. I'm busting his ass. I've been busting his ass all game, dog. Let me kill him. Because once I start killing him, they're sending the doubles and the triples, and I'm like what we saw with Shea last night.
Yeah.
Like Shea was getting so much attention. Nigga had 12 assists. He had 30 and 12 in fucking 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And it was both in the 30 and the 12 were both effortless. He was just hooping. Why? Because he was allowed to boogie and dictate the game. But this let's just insert spare parts in here, nigga. No, that's what you do with like a middle school team when you're not talented. When you have high-end talented players, you let them niggas be talented. Sorry, man.
No, I'm with you 100% here. It's concerning, and the NBA is going to continue to lose fans the more and more that we get this, and that's why you can expand if you want, but at the same time, this is not a good product. Now, granted, Adam Silver's already gotten the deals done, right? So TV they can't pull out, but it's a bad product, and they're just going to lose more and more fans, and nobody wants to pay $400 and $500 a game to go see somebody run down and shoot a 3 on one pass, and then basically the same thing happens on the other end, and that's gonna be pretty much the game. It's gonna be, well, who makes the threes first, and then occasionally, oh wow, we got a nice dunk by Anthony Edwards or something like. But that's what the NBA has turned into.
Hey, dog, if we go into a Hawks Grizzlies game, right? Do we want to only see 27, 28 minutes of Ja? Or we want to see that nigga out there for 36, 38, nigga, 40?
He should be getting at minimum, on average, 9 minutes a quarter. You know what I mean? He should be playing 3 whole quarters of basketball.
Like, you know how much, and granted, playoffs a little bit different, but you remember when LeBron was like playing 47 a game?
Yeah.
Niggas love that shit. You want to see star players out there thugging it, gutting it.
Yeah.
Hey, where would you like to see Ja? Because we got about 17 minutes left. There's not much left that we got to hit, but where would you like to see Ja?
So, again, I like the idea of Minnesota. I think that would be really, really interesting. But obviously, could be a clash considering it's Anthony Edwards' team and like just the way that works. But I think that's where I would like to see him. I mean, Houston would be pretty nice too, but it's a real perfect fit though.
Nigga, bring him here.
Play him with
bring him here.
Of course, here would be great too, especially if we're gonna get off Trey anyways. Bring him here. The star that you would want maybe to pair him with it. I know maybe it wouldn't work style wise potentially, but Ja with like Giannis. I mean,
I don't want another star with Giannis because Giannis is a black hole.
Yeah.
And it's the right thing to do. But nigga, Dame kept his numbers and it didn't look good.
Right. Well, they tailed a little. Right. Instead of being a 27, 28, he was a 24, 25.
But like he pretty much kept his numbers, and I know, but like they didn't play well together. No. Giannis doesn't play well with others, and that's okay. You need a team like they had when they won the championship. You need Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis.
Yeah,
Lopez. You need those types of players.
Is Bob Portis gonna have to choke him with?
Hey, another thing that the NBA is fucking up with is, hey, that Peacock, your program will be back shortly.
Yeah.
And it takes like 5 minutes for the post-game show to come on, and all they do is a preview, and then you go back to that fucking screen, and it's really like 10 minutes. It felt like 10 minutes of dead time before the post-game show came on Peacock. Yeah. Hey, that makes a nigga close the app.
Yeah, and I know that was something that you were certainly concerned with.
Well, think about it, dog. Had we not, we were sitting there waiting because we knew it was about time for for us to go to sleep. So you're not gonna turn something new on and commit to it.
Right.
But nigga, if we were on the West Coast, we're not even watching the post game show because we're probably watching fucking Ryan Russillo, Colin Cowherd,
Bill
Simmons, Rich Eisen, Danny O. We're watching some clips on YouTube now.
Pitt.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like anybody.
Yeah.
Well, because you're not even giving us anything. And then you got Carmelo Anthony on with his dope deal of sunglasses, no tie. We still can't get a blazer. Like, hey, Melo, can you take some accountability? You blaming everything on everybody. Hey, my nigga, you can put on a suit, dog. Take your shades off for the network show. See, I'm on a podcast. I can wear shades.
All right.
I'm sitting on a couch, nigga.
You know, well, but look, that's what Phil and George were talking about. You know, it's that type of stuff. He doesn't buy into the team, you know.
Hard behavior, huh?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But, yeah, no, it's odd because you just would think that Peacock would want to get some more money, too. Even if it was, you know how they have, like on Hulu, sometimes there's, like, the preset commercials. They're not even, like, commercials, but they're, like, 30-second, 45-second commercial. But they're, like, just, like, spots, right, that they put on there. They're not even commercials, but it's like a commercial.
It's activity on the TV.
Yeah.
Not a fucking screensaver, nigga.
Yeah. With hip-hop elevator music.
Hey, you were telling me about Kenny Smith.
Yeah, Ken Smith.
Is he about to get his name shortened because he's the ESPN nigga now?
Yeah. Ken Smith signs a multi-year deal with ESPN. He will now be a member of the famed Car Wash. Let's see. Let me pull up all the details. He will be appearing on First Take. He will be calling games and also going to be on NBA Countdown.
Can I just raise my hand and throw something in here because I know we got 13 minutes left?
Go for it.
Sources tell Notice that Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to run for president in 2028. Put a pin in that and let's finish Ken Smith because I think this is them Georgia shit that we could probably close out on.
Okay. Yeah. So Ken, obviously, probably the right guy out of all the new people that they're bringing in to do this. I think it's not a bad move, but obviously Chuck and Shaq were like,
but they're not good analysts. They're not good car wash analysts.
Yeah, and Kenny will be able to do it. And I think especially on a show like First Take where you get Kenny Smith to go head to head with Stephen A. Because Stephen A is going to have his opinions on basketball, but Kenny Smith's going to be able to kind of check him on just about anything. Kenny Smith, people don't realize this. Kenny Smith was getting interviewed for GM jobs while he was working at Turner
and head coaching jobs. And
yeah, so.
But you also know Kenny Smith was involved with Stephen A getting shit right with Kyrie because New York nigga, they got some similar ties.
Yeah. And
honestly, Stephen A gonna talk differently to Kenny. Because when Stephen A get around athletes that he like actually respects. Well, anytime he gets in a real athlete's face, besides like the RCs and like the niggas.
Yeah, he grew up. He's like, yeah, I remember when Kenny Smith came out of New York and went to North Carolina.
Like and like
a similar path as me. I was in New York and then I also went to North Carolina, just the A&T.
Okay. Let's.
With A&T. He went to Winston State trip. Well, either way, he went to North Carolina, nigga. That's my point.
Hey, and just throwing it out there. Hey, we are Morehouse niggas, and I want people to be very clear. We love and support people going to HBCUs, but inside of our own community, we shit on most of your HBCUs. So, like them North Carolina them public HBCUs, all them shits run together. If we're being honest.
Yeah, none of them. If honestly, and it's no shots at anywhere else. I love Savannah State. I love people that went there, all this other stuff. But realistically, if you're not FAMU, Howard, Hampton,
Morehouse, Spelman.
We give Clark. I respect Clark. Tuskegee. That's really it. I mean,
I'm done with you.
I don't want to shit on like Fisk or anything.
Niggas don't go to Fisk.
I know TSU people talk about TSU too, but like
I shit on TSU. One of my best friends went to TSU, and I shit on. He also like to make like these kind of jokes about Morehouse, and I'm like, hey, relax.
Well, it's a part of the culture there. We weren't a part of that culture, but that is a part of the school.
Yeah, I mean, it exists, but like, yeah.
But they're their own separate entity. You know, they do their own thing.
We got 10 minutes. But I think Ken Smith is going to be a great addition to ESPN. He's going to provide actually good analysis. I think if we can get him and Dick Jeff like talking basketball on TV, I think that's going to be really good because Richard Jefferson's a good analyst. And honestly,
put him with, well, imagine with Legs. I mean, Legs is great.
No, I'm just talking about on the network show. Now, when it comes to when it comes to being in the booth and stuff, ESPN, hey, all you niggas, get away from these 3-man booths. That shit is raggedy.
Yeah.
It's not enough airtime. We need a play-by-play guy and a color guy.
But they got Brain and Legs.
I like Breen. I like Legs. I like Dick Jeff. I like Kenny being there. I see what ESPN is doing, and what it really looks like they're doing is they're either getting ready for a Stephen A. presidential push, or they're getting ready for Stephen A. after this 5-year contract to be put in a position where he gonna have to move around or take less because ESPN is getting back to what sounds like ESPN is getting back to what they used to be, is a team with great starters and a deep bullpen.
Yeah, and with speaking of bullpen, who knows? You might get maybe we get Joe Buck to call some ESPN baseball.
Or maybe they'll just come hire us. You know, we'll move to Bristol and work for y'all.
Yeah. Just give me a call. Also, shout out, just because I know we are running low on time, and we didn't really touch the World Series, but obviously, World Series, Dodgers win. As a Braves fan, I didn't want that outcome, but you know, it's kind of cool to see a team that is somewhat of a dynasty a little bit, possibly getting born here right before our eyes. Mookie Betts getting his 4th ring. He's the most among active players. Freddie getting his 3rd. I didn't like what you did there at the end, Freddie. When you catch the out, you did the same thing you did in our World Series. I get it, your first base, and you already knew and you were going to do it. The putting up the hand, because it's kind of iconic for us. It's like, yes, like we finally got over that hump. But 50 million viewers for the World Series, which doubled the NBA Finals on an international stage.
Well, we don't know the NBA's international viewership rates.
Well, they still doubled it, point being. Right?
Shout out to Freddie Freeman for killing the worm, but when you got up and did the little twerk at the end, come on, bro.
Yeah.
But let's do the picks first so we get that out the way, and then maybe we can talk about this Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff because yeah.
Okay, go for it. I already got everything saved here, so.
All righty.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Parlay Peas College Football 6-pack.
666. You put a lot of pepper on that one. All right, so without further ado, let's get kicked off with some Big 12 football. We got Iowa State at TCU. I like Iowa State plus 7.5. Kind of an odd spread here. TCU's not really that good. That's a large number. Let's go Iowa State 7.5. Next, we got UNLV at Colorado State. Dan Mullen coming off of a loss and potentially trying to get some interviews for one of these head coaching vacancies because he will get interviewed against the Colorado State team that fired their coach. Give me UNLV on the money line. Next, we got Northwestern at USC. That game's actually going to be on a Friday. I love USC minus 13.5 at home. They should smoke Northwestern. Next, we got Georgia at Mississippi State. Interesting. This was a weird line to me. We're going to take Georgia minus 9. I don't know why they wouldn't win by double digits. I know that Mississippi State took it down with Texas, whatever. Give me Georgia minus 9. Next, we got Indiana at Penn State. Another really confusing one. Don't even have to buy the point here or do anything with this one. Indiana minus 14.5. They've been whooping everybody's ass, and I don't see any stop to it. Then finally, we got LSU at Alabama. Sucks that this game is not going to be nearly as good as we were hoping. But I believe that Alabama is going to thump LSU because LSU at this point knows that the season's over. I mean, guys are already dropping out and stuff too. So,
Bama on the money line or Bama cover?
No, minus 9.5.
All right. So we got Iowa State plus 7.5, UNLV on the money line, USC minus 13.5, UGA minus 9, Indy minus 14.5, Bama minus 9.5. We like the favorites this week, baby. And now it's time for Parlay Pete NFL 6.
All right. Juicy slate in the NFL this week, too. And the further that we get along, it always seems like it gets just so much better because now we start to really understand who these teams are. But without further ado, we've got the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. I think everybody knows exactly where I'm going here. Give me the Seahawks minus 6.5. The type of ball that they're playing right now, I don't see anyone that can stop them. And even though Jacoby Brissett definitely gives the Cardinals a better chance of winning football games, not against that football team. And especially because they played so well on the road and now it's going to be home. It's fun for them to finally put it together at home. We're going to take Seattle minus 6.5. Then next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the LA Chargers. That's going to be our Sunday night game. Low over under. They got it at 43.5. Let's go over 43.5. I expect there to be just some more points because Pittsburgh's defense isn't going to play as well. Then next, another low over under. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. Obviously, CJ Stroud is going to be out, but 36.5 is just a tad bit too low as far as I'm concerned. I like over 36.5 in the Jaguars at Texans. Then next, we got the Vikings hosting the Baltimore Ravens. I like Minnesota plus 4.5. I like what Baltimore is going to have going. They got that win. They got kind of half by. We're going to take Minnesota plus 4.5 here. Then next, we got the Detroit Lions at the Washington Commanders. I like Detroit to get the bounce back win. Give me Lions minus 8. And then finally, Eagles at Packers, Monday Night Football. I like the Packers minus 2.
All right, so we got Seattle minus 6.5, Steelers at Chargers over 43.5, Jacksonville at the Texans over 36.5, the Vikings plus 4.5, the Lions minus 8, and the Packers minus 2.
That is correct.
If you like it, then I love it.
And when you love it, that means it's time for
League 3.
League 3.
All right, so this week for League 3, we're going to go a little college heavy. Give me UNLV on the money line. I like Dan Mullen out here coaching for a job because, goddammit, Florida shouldn't have fired his ass for Billy Napier. Give me UGA minus 9 because we're the real dogs around here.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck
it, cowbell.
And then lastly, on the NFL slate, as I look at this, I'm conflicted on which direction I want to go in, but let's just be real. Give me Seattle minus 6.5. They beat those guys by a touchdown.
Yeah, they just been playing too good a ball.
Yeah. So those are the picks for the week. We've got 2 minutes left.
2-minute drill.
Any thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene possibly running for president in 2028?
She won't win. That's really my main thought. She's not going to win. I do like some of the stuff that she's starting to come around to be completely honest with you. But at the same time, she's not going to win.
Yeah, I think she struggles to win because she says she has a good relationship with the president still, but she has taken on MAGA by calling out their bullshit, especially with the Epstein files and keeping the government closed and the stuff that the way they're not fixing healthcare. So all of that stuff actually makes sense of what she's been saying if she is serious about this run for president, because she has found some people on the other side who are going, okay, she's not that crazy. She's making a lot of sense. She cares about people. So, if there's a woman in today's climate that could win, she possesses a lot of the qualities that could help her out as a Southern Republican-leaning white woman, as opposed to a super liberal like Hillary, or a woman of many different diversities like Kamala. This actually may be one of the better candidates from a candidate point of view, but at the same time, like, I doubt it works. I doubt the Republican Party gets behind her.
Yeah, no, they're not going to. And the thought would be that JD's probably going to end up running. I mean, that just is kind of like the foregone conclusion.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We get advanced Newsom race, huh?
Exactly. But hey, New York has elected a communist. I don't really think he's a communist, but that's what people say, socialist, communist, however you want to put it. But he's their guy. We'll see what comes from there. And thanks for a great show this week, Parlay Pete. You guys have a great week now.
All righty.